Hey guys, Languagehacker here, and today, yet again, we're playing a face deck. We have Habu Gabu's Priest list. It's a Dark Bishop Benedictus, means it's a Shadow Priest. You start off the game in Shadow form, which means your hero power deals 2 damage to any target you choose instead of healing 2 life. Now, the deck is very, very low curved, if you can see here. The top end is Benedictus, which we don't even really want to play, and then Void Shard is kind of just our finisher as a burn type thing. We have a lot of 1-drops because it's very important to play some stuff on 1, and 2, and 3 because we're a curve deck. But importantly, the reason why we want to play stuff on 1 is because on turn 2, if we hit them in the head with our 1-drop, we can play Twilight the Scepter, which gives us the draw for the Shadow spell, which means that we can save our normal natural draws from minions instead. Let's go over the minions, I guess. 1/4, pretty good. Homunculus. Slow, and it doesn't activate a Scepter on 2, but still pretty good and important in some of the tempo matchups. Tour Guide lets you bank a hero power for 0 mana, which is pretty good either in tempo matchups or if you want to have like a Tour Guide on 1 into Panthara draw on 2 situation, that works as well. Neophytes for some disruption. Oh, Void Touch Attendant, I skipped over this. This is important as well. Once you have a board already, you don't want to be playing this on 1 that often if you can help it. Sometimes if you need a 1-drop, you might still jam it, but it's good to hold this if you already have other playables, and then once you have a full board, you play this, hit him in the head, and this just banks extra damage, which is awesome. Neophyte for disruption. Chapped Lane is a more recent addition to the deck that I believe Habu Gabu made. Helps a lot in the tempo matchups, gives you another 2 mana play, which otherwise you normally wouldn't have. Knife Fenders were in instead of this, but there are a lot more tempo matchups on ladder than I'd like for Knife Fender to be useful, so this has been very, very useful once I've added this in. The win rate of the deck has been pretty similar before and after, but the deck has felt much better against any board-centric matchup. Hunter, Paladin, the Mirror, Zoo, stuff like that. Even against some of the slower matchups, adding 2 health can change breakpoints against stuff like Soul Shear, School Spirits, basically any AoE that you might be facing. There's 1 Thrive. This is really useful with Mancrick when you only have 2 spells in the deck outside of the Thrive. So once you have Mancrick in play, Thrive draws the wife, which is awesome. Raise Dead gets you a bunch of more cheap minions to play, which is quite nice. It can get you more Tour Guides to cheat out some extra mana with your hero powers. It can get you more Wriggling Horrors to buff up your minions. Elucia has been really, really good. It's not great in a tempo matchup unless you're pretty far in and already ahead, but against all the quest decks, if you run out of gas, or even if you do have enough gas and you want to kind of close out the game, when they complete the quest, you can Mind Render with you having an empty hand, which denies them a complete turn, so you can just 2-turn them with your board. You can do it to steal their quest reward if it's late enough in the game. You can do it to waste coin, waste fireballs, disruption. It's pretty good. It's not something you might want to keep against you unless you know it's against a very slow quest deck that you can take advantage of, and even then, I might still want an early curve leading up to the Elucia. This is an interesting card as well that Habu Gabu has included. Traveling Merchant. It's a tradable minion. Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each friendly minion control. If you're curving out 1/2, this is a turn 3 Yeti. Pretty cool. And if not, you can spend 1 mana, shuffle it back in your deck. If this is late game and you're just looking for damage to close out the game, you can shuffle it back for 1 mana, try to find stuff like Thrive, Void Shard, Panthara gets you cycling late game. Cards that are decent just because it draws you more stuff when you're out of stuff. Shadowed Spirit hasn't felt great, but it's still pseudo burn. They either have to deal with it and then you get 3 damage out of it, or they don't deal with it and then you get 4 damage out of it, and sometimes 7. So it's felt weird to me because it's really not good fighting for board, and it dies to the 3 mana damage spells, Soul Shear, Drain Soul, Brain Freeze, etc. But I'm not sure if I'm ready to cut it yet. It feels okay, the number of 3 mana minions we have, and same thing, if you're curving 1, 2 into 3, you're still pretty happy as long as you have something. Void Shard, you don't want to be just jamming on 4. If you can, you want to be squeezing in hero powers on turn 4, and eventually the game will end with you probably on turn 6 or 7 going Void Shard hero power just for the 6 damage finisher. So you want to weave in hero powers when you can, but make sure you don't give up on board unless it's like absolutely necessary. Pushing board is very important with this deck, particularly against other tempo decks, because there's no comeback mechanisms. So yeah, mulligans, look for your 1 mana minions. If you have 1 mana, you can keep some of the 2-drops. If you have something like double 1-drop, you can keep wriggling on the coin. Even sometimes off the coin, you can keep it if you have other plays to go for. Neophyte seems pretty good when your opponents are on the coin or when they're quest decks, when you know they'll be playing spells. Yeah, that's it. Jam it. It seems pretty fun. I doubted it pretty heavily, but I've had a blast with it today. The win rate has been like 70% at High Legend. We just hit top 100 with it across like 30-ish games. It's pretty good. Check it out. Yeah, let me know how you guys do with this deck. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. See you next time. Let's try this. Ooh, man crick, let's go. And a conjure still playable. Yeah, I think it is. I've seen some people climb with it. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, I see. Messes up my turn a little bit, unfortunately. All right. We'll neophyte. I need something that sticks on the board so I can Deceptor the, which means this. Ooh, we denied the quest this turn. That's nice. You think Dead should replace Shadow from the Mind Blast? I think Mind Blast would make this deck too strong. So no, I'd completely disagree. If this deck, if this deck was as is, but with 2 Mind Blasts, I think it would actually be broken. It'd be pretty fucking illegal. Quest online really late, but it went for tempo. The tempo didn't actually contest much, but it did change my plays, so it was pretty good. I have not a great hand here, but we have good tempo. No quest lock? No, it is quest. They just haven't played the quest yet. They've been trying to fight for board. So this is, yeah, it's probably the gadget list. 1-3 versus a 3-2. Well, you're laughing, but if I had something else like a tour guide, it would have been pretty good. It's upsetting. Raise Dead is really good though. Sure, we'll take it. This is better than Raise Dead. I only push 1 here. We'll go wide to set up for the Void Touch to Tenant next turn. Void Touch, Wriggling Ping, and then Void Shard Ping on 6. Lethal, probably. I don't think I could neophyte though. This plays around coil. The question is, am I neophyting or not? I think Neophyte's better than Ping here. I have such a strong board that it makes it a lot harder. They can go like Sealer of Souls Backfire here, but it costs so much health. And even though they can still play the spells, it's gonna be a lot more expensive health-wise. So I think this is better. Replacement for Lucia. Lucia's been pretty good in almost every single game I've had at her. She's been bad in 1 game, but that's because we were already so far behind on board. Lucia's pretty good. I don't know if it's core, but I would say that it's very, very useful if you are facing quest decks. Yeah. Oh, buffing this was not really that smart because I still have a Quill target. My bad. Replacement for Lucia? You could put in, what could you put in? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe that's lethal. You could put in Psyfiend as an extra 3 mana. The 3 mana 3/4 stat line has been really good. I don't like the stat line on the Spirit, but it gives a bit more oomph. You could run the 1 mana legendary, the 1/3 lifesteal prime. You could run Dragon Maw Overseer, 3 mana 2/2, buff a friendly minion at the end of your turn. There's a few options. This isn't a great one drop, but I think I should still keep it. I don't like this 2 drop because I'm not buffing anything. Okay. Replacement for Benedictus, no. Good meme. The other half's luck. Wow, I know I just put you guys in the deck, and I know you want to prove yourselves, but I don't need both of you every single game, you know? I really hope this sticks, otherwise this gets a lot worse. Yeah, put Shadow Form in instead of Benedictus. Yeah, I don't think you want the Watch Post. 4-mana Watch Post is way too slow. 1 drop, 1 drop, 1 drop, 1 drop. 3 drop, 1 drop. Just have... So what's interesting here is that I could not buff the Neophyte because then the Raise Dead on the Neophyte's really good. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to bait them into killing the Neophyte because we drew the Raise Dead. I know that we can be so amazing. Flurry? That's a flurry. I'll get more than I get. I'm not going to play the Panther here. I have enough on board. They want to fire sale me, so we'll do this. I considered swapping cool turn with ropes. Played some games with cool and feel good. Every game I've played with this, with the Chaplain, has felt really good. So I don't I don't know about that. You could run robes, but robes are much worse. So robes are better against quest decks, which you already are okay against, right? You're running robes against any tempo deck is just really bad. So I mean, depending on what you're facing, sure, but I'd be more inclined to say you want to. We brain freezing here? Fireball. I think you want to make yourself better against the tempo matchups because those are a lot harder. Just haven't met you yet. I'll play this. I could play the Chaplain instead. This dies to Fire Sale, but if they Fire Sale here, they take a shit ton of damage. And it's their whole turn. And it's a fire spell, so it doesn't really help them either. This looks like death. This looks like a whole lot of death. Second flurry, too. Okay. Suddenly I see. I think I want to get rid of spell damage. We know they don't have Fire Sale from the previous turns. And they've been having trouble, so let's do this. The other play was Chaplaining the Spirit. I can still play Fire Sale here. Yeah, it's not Fire Sale. Yeah, yeah. 6, 8, 10. Not quite. Right? 2, 4, 6. 8. 12. Math is hard. Let's try to find Void Touched. Actually, we could just play this, huh? That's probably fine. It's pretty thick. Anyways, we have lethal setup with Void Shard, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's not that Gouda. Lax. Oh boy. If you're going full anti-quest mage, throw him in. But Cheesemonger doesn't help you. It gives you random spells, which aren't really that useful. Right? It's really not that useful. Pretty dead on board. Boop. Boop.